Assalamu alaikum. Before jumping into the parathyroid gland anomalies, first of all, we have to be master in some general principles like chip cell regulates serum free calcium via parathyroid hormone. Via parathyroid hormone. Via parathyroid hormone. Okay. What happens in here? That is, we know that 60% of the calcium are bound to protein. 60% of our calcium is bound to protein, and the unbound form, and the rest are unbound, and from the unbound form some are bound to phosphate and some are bound to phosphate, some are bound to phosphate and some are in a free form. Actually we like to discuss about the free form because this free serum free calcium is the main regulator. Which, what does it do? It actually increases osteoclastic activity. It increases osteoclastic activity. Okay, how it increases osteoclastic activity? Can you shock? Yes, this is a different way. In the very past, we actually learn wrong way that it increases chip cell, that parathyroid hormone actually increases osteoblastic activity, but that is not the case. Actually parathyroid hormone, parathyroid PTH increases osteoblastic activity. PTH increases osteoblast. PTH actually increases osteoblast. Then osteoblast activates osteoclast. Then osteoblast activates osteoclast, and osteoblast activates osteoclast and releasing calcium and phosphate. And other thing, it increases small bowel absorption of calcium and phosphate. And the last thing it has done, that it increases renal calcium reabsorption. It increases renal calcium reabsorption and decreases phosphate excretion. It increases renal calcium reabsorption and decreases phosphate and decreases phosphate reabsorption. Increases renal calcium reabsorption and decreases phosphate absorption, or it increases phosphate excretion. This is the most important thing, that it increases phosphate excretion. It increases phosphate excretion. Actually it grabs calcium and dump phosphate, and by dumping phosphate, by this way you can increase free ionized calcium, and by dumping phosphate, by this way you can increase free ionized calcium. Increased serum ionized calcium level provide negative feedback to decrease PTH secretion, and this increased calcium provide negative feedback to decrease PTH. Okay, what happens in there? In primary hyperthyroidism, the main pathophysiology in primary hyperparathyroidism, there is excess PTH, there is excess parathyroid hormone, and we know that primary means the gland itself, and there is increased PTH, there is increased PTH, It may be due to parathyroid adenoma. It may be due to parathyroid carcinoma. It may be due to parathyroid adenoma. It may be due to parathyroid hyperplasia. It may be due to parathyroid hyperplasia, or it may be due to parathyroid carcinoma. Most often results in asymptomatic hypercalcemia, however, may present with it can be present with nephrocalcinosis. It may be present with nephrocalcinosis. That means there is increased calcium oxalate stone. There is increased calcium oxalate stone. There is increased calcium oxalate stone. Nephrocalcinosis. Sorry, I have said the wrong term. It would be nephro. Sorry, it is nephrocalcinosis is a different term. In nephrocalcinosis, there is metastatic calcification of the metastatic calcification of the renal tubule. On the other hand, in nephrolithiasis, there is increased calcium oxalate stone. In nephrolithiasis, there is increased calcium oxalate stone. Sorry, I said it wrong. Please correct this, that in nephrolithiasis there is increased calcium oxalate stone. On the other hand, in nephrocalcinosis there is metastatic calcification of the renal tubule, potentially leading to renal insufficiency and polyuria. There are other features too in here. There are other features like in here there is CNS disturbance. CNS disturbance, there is constipation, there is PUD, peptic ulcer disease, there is fibrosa cystica, fibrosa cystica. In here there is mm, acute pancreatitis. This is high yield thing that in hypercalcemia leads to acute pancreatitis. Hypercalcemia leads to acute pancreatitis. There is osteitis fibrosa cystica, resorption of bone leading to fibrosis, and cystic spaces. And now more and more important thing I am going to discuss, the labs. In primary hyperparathyroidism, what happens in here, as there is hyperparathyroidism, so PTH will increase, and we know what PTH will do. PTH will uh, PTH will raises calcium and decreases phosphate level. PTH will raises calcium and decrease phosphate level. And other thing, PTH will activate osteoblast. Then osteoblast will activate osteoclast. And for we know that you need alkaline environment is needed to lay down the bone. So to making alkaline environment, you need increase alkaline phosphatase. This is the unique thing. Actually, we most frequently forgot this thing, that it increases osteoblast, and osteoblast actually stimulate osteoclast. And for bone to grow, for osteoblast to work, you need alkaline environment. Otherwise, it will not gonna work. And other thing that is, it will increases urinary urinary cyclic MP. How it increases urinary cyclic MP? PTH actually stimulates G stimulatory protein. PTH stimulates GS, and GS will convert ATH to cyclic AMP, ATP to cyclic AMP, and cyclic AMP with the help of adenylyl cyclase, and this cyclic AMP pass out by urine and causing Urinary increase cyclic increase urinary cam. Treatment involves surgical removal of the affected gland. Now, secondary hyperparathyroidism. What happens in secondary hyperparathyroidism? Mm, there is excess production of parathyroid hormone due to disease process extrinsic to the parathyroid gland. Excess production of the PTA. There is excess production of PTA due to a disease process extensive to the due to a disease process extends and due to a disease process extrinsic to the parathyroid gland. This is excess production. This is excess production. Excess production of parathyroid hormone. Excess production of the PTH. Excess production of the PTH due to a disease process. Due to a disease process. Production of the PTH due to a disease process. Due to a disease process. Extrinsic to parathyroid gland. Extrinsic to parathyroid gland. Extrinsic to parathyroid gland. It's the most common cause of chronic renal failure. It's the most common cause of CRF, chronic renal failure. Most common cause is chronic renal failure. What happens in here, as your kidney is dead, so your phosphate is not able to excrete, so phosphate will increase, phosphate will increase, phosphate will remain in the kidney. Now this phosphate will bind with calcium and thus causing decreased calcium level. As there is decreased calcium, it will increase parathyroid gland, so there is increased PTH. And we know that when there is increased PTH will stimulate osteoblast, and osteoblast will activate osteoclast. PTH is stimulating osteoblast, so there is increased ALP. And these are the features and these are the labs what you have to remember, because this is the high yield thing. Most of the people gets negative mark due to these lab values. Now hypothyroidism. In hypothyroidism, what happens? There is low PTH. As there is low PTH and low PTH, the cause of low PTH is surgical excision of the parathyroid gland. Surgical excision of the parathyroid gland. It may be genetic abnormality like D-George syndrome. D-George syndrome. D-George syndrome. What happens in D-George syndrome? And there is a mnemonic saying catch 22, and there is a cardiac anomaly or chronotruncal abnormalities, abnormal faces, abnormal faces, thymic aplasia, There is there is thymic aplasia. There is hypercalcemia. And chromosome 22 problem. There is hypercalcemia. There is there is hypocalcemia. And there is cleft palate. Hypocalcemia. There is cleft palate. And in here there is 22q11 microdeletion occurs. There is 22q11 microdeletion occurs in DiGeorge syndrome. As there is hypocalcemia, it leads to tetany. Hypocalcemia, it leads to and there are two tests by which you can diagnose tetany. There is Vostek sign and Trousseau sign. Trousseau on my Vostek. Vostek starts with C. So you have to remember the C, that means chin. If you tap the chin or facial region, it will causing uh, and if you tap the facial nerve, it starts vibrating, and this is Vossic sign. And Trousseau sign is if you raise the if you change, if you if you, it may be elicited by feeling a blood pressure curve, feeling a blood pressure curve, and you have to raise the systolic pressure more than 20 or 30. That time there is a spasm or tetany occurs. Lab reveals decreased PTH, decreased calcium, hypoparathyroidism. And that's all for today.